One number explains this week. 173. That's how far apart the United States was in a single day. Laredo, Texas at 103 degrees. Alaska at -70. Same country. Same day. 173 degrees of separation on the same map, under the same flag, in the same atmosphere. Sit with that for a second. That number is not a weather footnote. That number is not a trivia question. That number is a pressure gauge. And right now, it is buried so deep in the red that the needle has nowhere left to move. The atmosphere does not tolerate imbalance like that. It does not shrug it off. It does not gradually ease back into balance over weeks and months. It corrects fast, hard, and across a massive geographic footprint. And the correction has already begun. What you are about to experience this week is not random bad luck. It is not a coincidence of timing. It is physics doing exactly what physics does when you pull too hard in opposite directions for too long. The energy that built up over this winter, concentrated in that 173-degree spread, is now moving. It is organizing. And it is heading somewhere specific, several somewhere specifics, actually, which is exactly why this week demands your full attention from Monday morning through the weekend. If you are in West Virginia, Maryland, or Pennsylvania, your risk window opens Monday morning. Not Monday afternoon. Not Monday evening after work. Monday morning, right when your alarm goes off, right when you are deciding between the highway and the back roads, right when millions of people are backing out of driveways without a second thought because the sky looks gray and quiet and not particularly threatening. That is precisely the problem. This is a classic cold air damming setup. High pressure sitting to the north is wedging a dome of freezing air down the eastern side of the Appalachian Mountains. Dense, stubborn, ground-hugging cold that locks in place. Meanwhile, warmer and wetter air flows in above it from the south. Where those two air masses meet, the warm air does not produce snow. It does not produce rain. It freezes the instant it touches any surface. Pavement, metal, asphalt, bridge decking, guardrails. It builds a film of ice so thin you cannot see it in your headlights and so slick you cannot stop on it once you are moving. Models are showing accumulations above 1/10 of an inch in several locations across this region. 1/10 of an inch. I know how that sounds. Say it out loud and it sounds like almost nothing. Here is what 1/10 of an inch of ice actually looks like at 6:45 on a Monday morning. A dry road. That is the entire point. You do not see it. Your headlights do not catch it. There is no visual warning, no color change, no texture difference. You drive onto a bridge doing 65 miles per hour thinking the surface is completely fine, and in the next half second you discover that it is not fine at all, and by then the discovery is too late to be useful. If you are in Frederick, Harrisonburg, or anywhere in the outer suburbs of Washington, D.C., make your decision tonight about whether Monday's commute is actually necessary. That decision is far easier to make at 10 o'clock Sunday night than at 6 in the morning when you are half asleep and already running behind. The I-81 corridor and Route 7 in Maryland are going to be treacherous because bridges and overpasses lose heat from both above and below simultaneously. They go glassy long before the surrounding road surface shows any sign of trouble. The worst icing in this event is likely to concentrate along I-64 between Beckley and Lexington, through the mountain pass between West Virginia and Virginia. The terrain there funnels the cold air in ways that amplify everything. Hillsville, Salem, Lynchburg. If you have family or friends driving that corridor Monday morning, reach out to them today. Not Monday morning. Today. Different region. Different setup. Same system. If you are in Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Louisville, Kansas City, or anywhere north of St. Louis, your threat looks different on the surface but carries the same potential for real harm. Here the setup is ice plus snow, and that combination is specifically dangerous in ways that each element alone is not. A glaze of ice forms overnight while most people are asleep. 2 inches of snow falls on top of it before dawn. The snow covers the ice completely. Drivers step outside, see a couple of inches of manageable-looking powder, and calibrate their behavior for snow. Reasonable speeds, reasonable following distances, reasonable confidence. Then they hit the hidden ice layer underneath and realize in an instant that their calibration was completely wrong. That is where the accidents happen. Not because the event is extreme, but because it looks manageable. Indianapolis is going to see heavier, more defined snow bands set up across the metro, which means conditions will vary sharply from one neighborhood to the next and one highway segment to the next. Do not assume that because your street looks passable, the overpass 2 miles ahead is equally forgiving. Cincinnati could see close to 2 inches of accumulation on top of whatever ice glazing sets up beforehand. Keep your eyes on the hyperlocal forecast, not just the regional overview. The Midwest situation clears by late Monday into Tuesday, and that brings us to the next act. By Tuesday, the entire system lifts northward and takes aim at the I-95 corridor from Washington through Philadelphia into New York City. For the major coastal cities, this looks like a transitional mix. It starts as snow, shifts to sleet, and eventually becomes plain rain as warmer air pushes in from the south and wins the battle at the surface. Messy morning for the immediate coast, likely clearing by afternoon. But do not let the coastal forecast define your understanding of Tuesday's risk, because if you are in upstate New York or the higher elevations of Pennsylvania, your situation is considerably more serious than the I-95 headline suggests. At altitude, the transition from freezing to above freezing takes longer. The ice window stays open well into the morning. Secondary roads and rural routes do not receive treatment as quickly or as thoroughly as the major highways. If you are living or traveling at elevation in that corridor on Tuesday, Monday's Mid-Atlantic scenario applies directly to your Tuesday morning, and you should plan accordingly. Take a breath, because Monday and Tuesday are just the opening. By Wednesday and Thursday, a strengthening low-pressure system tracking up from the Gulf of Mexico brings an entirely different category of threat to a different part of the country. Organized severe thunderstorms, large hail, and real tornado potential emerge across the southern plains and mid-south. The jet stream energy feeding this system is significant. The wind dynamics at multiple atmospheric levels support rotating storms, and the instability profiles are not subtle. This is not speculation. This is a measurable, trackable threat that people from Texas through the Tennessee Valley need to begin taking seriously right now, today, while there is still time to prepare. Then comes the second wave, arriving late week. Atmospheric river moisture feeding into colder air sets up a serious flooding threat across the Tennessee Valley and the Ohio River Basin, where rivers in multiple locations are already running above seasonal levels. When you feed an already elevated river system with a concentrated atmospheric river event, you compress the timeline for flooding to develop. Communities that might normally have 48 hours of warning could find themselves with considerably less. The flooding threat late week is not a footnote to the severe weather story from Wednesday and Thursday. It is a separate, significant event with its own timeline and its own set of communities at risk. 2 distinct threats, 2 days apart, both significant, both predictable, both survivable if you act on the information before you need it rather than after. This is not one bad week. This is a pipeline. So here is what you do starting tonight. If you are in the Mid-Atlantic, put gas in your car, identify alternate routes before you need them, and confirm whether your remote work option is available Monday. The decision is easier tonight than tomorrow morning. If you are in the Midwest, treat the next 24 hours as serious winter conditions. Ice scraper within reach, phone charged, awareness of the bridges and overpasses on your regular route. If you are in the Northeast, Tuesday morning is your window of concern, not Monday evening. Keep your alerts active overnight and check conditions before you commit to your morning. If you are in the Southern Plains or Mid-South, Wednesday and Thursday demand your preparation now, severe weather kits, shelter plans, and a clear understanding of where you will go if a tornado warning is issued for your area. For every single person watching this, regardless of location, the hyperlocal details in these events matter more than the regional overview. A few hundred feet of elevation separates ice from nothing. 2 degrees of surface temperature separates freezing rain from plain rain. The regional forecast tells you what is possible. Your specific location determines what is coming for you. The 173-degree spread that opened this forecast was the atmosphere loading itself to capacity. What you are watching unfold this week, the ice, the snow, the severe storms, the flooding, is what that loading looks like when it releases. It started Saturday. It will not finish for days. The announcement is over. This week, assume the surface is lying.